All right. So, Mallory, I can't believe that it's been only 4 weeks since I texted you and said, hey, I've got an idea, and I'm really, really hoping you'd be willing to bring this to life with me.
And here we are, Volt, bringing it to life. So, like, most people are like, I've got an idea. And then I am like, no, I'm going to build a full media empire with you. So I don't know that when you texted me a month ago that your initial thought was we're going to have a website and a podcast and we're going to interview all these people. But like, sorry, not sorry. Here we are. Time to build the next media empire. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else, Volt.
Oh, ditto. Actually, I could not think of anyone else that I wanted to do this with when I had this idea. You were the first and only person who came to mind. And so I was thrilled when you said, yeah, I'd be interested. And I was even more thrilled when we started to ideate together and start to think about who it is that we'd want to feature and what it is that we wanted to accomplish. And it just fell into place so perfectly and so easily. Mm-hmm. It's been amazing. It's been great.
Well, that's how you know it's a good idea, right? It doesn't feel hard and we are having so much fun. And now we are finally like releasing this first episode out into the world and like announcing to people higher ed icons exists.
It's crazy. And you know, the thing is, when I first started my career, I had a mentor when I was a junior in college. And she said to me, Volt, you need to stay in higher education. You need community. And at the time, I tucked that away in the back of my head. Funny thing is, like a year after I graduated, she gave me my first job, my first full-time job in education. And she's actually a Carnegie client now, which is like full circle.
Wow.
But I realized that she was absolutely right. And when I think about what we want to accomplish with higher ed icons, it really is recognizing the people who have created what I consider to be a very close-knit, very tight, very giving community. Yeah. And I continue to be impressed and humbled by the fact that so many people who are marketing professionals in higher ed are so generous with their time, with their insight, with their expertise. And the idea that we get to celebrate them, the idea that we get to shine a light on their work, and the idea that we get to ask them, how did you do it? What was the secret sauce? What made it possible? I mean, to me, it was a dream come true, and doing it with you is like a super duper dream come true.
Oh, that's so awesome. I co-sign everything you just said. You know, when I entered this industry back in 2008, it was at a really interesting point in the world of marketing because social media had just happened and institutions were grappling with how to use this new channel to communicate with the myriad of audiences that any college or university needs to communicate with. And then right after that, responsive design happened. And I was, working for you at that time. And, so all of these things were occurring. But then within higher ed, the rise of the CMO or CCO role was occurring at the same time. And marketing was really starting to earn this legitimate place within the cabinet, within the campus. No longer was it this dirty word that we couldn't say in front of faculty members. And as I think back on those early years and really over the course of my career, it's like, all these things that push our industry forward just like sometimes live in people's heads or in these old conference slide decks, and no one has captured it. And no one has sat down with these icons to do what you said. Walk me through how you actually thought about these things. And so it feels like a dream to be able to put what has existed for decades, like into an artifact that is easy to find and people can go listen to.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you were talking, I was just thinking, could we pinpoint the actual date and time where brand was no longer a word you couldn't say in higher ed?
Well, we might not be able to pinpoint the date and time, but I can pinpoint a person who really moved that needle forward. I mean, if there is ever a higher ed icon, there is one name that comes to my mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm wondering if you're talking about our very first guest.
I am. And this person, I mean, he hired both of us. In fact, I have heard him say more than once, we were the best 2 hires he ever made in his career. How's that?
Though I will say that he said I was a better hire.
Well, you were first, so you can hang your hat on that. Okay, fine. You know what? I'll give it to you.
Oh no, I defer to you. Even though this person happens to have my profile tattooed on his inner bicep, I do think that he loves you more.
I learned how to empathize. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to love Amaro. Like there are so many things that come up in my everyday life that I can track back to this human. And so I am just so grateful that he's going to be our first guest next week.
I am too. I think that he taught me to be a kinder person. And that to me was the best professional and personal gift he could give me.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, Vol, like we couldn't make this Higher Ed Icons thing without our founding sponsor. And I just have to say, I am genuinely so grateful to On Deck Marketing for taking a chance with us. A new podcast feed has exactly 0 subscribers. Right? So hopefully as people are listening to this episode, they're already hitting subscribe, a little call to action, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Please go subscribe. You're not going to want to miss this first episode. Sometimes we forget about the foundational stuff that just allows our brand to exist and be known by the most important audiences. And when I think about On Deck Marketing, that is exactly what they provide. So it's not always like the sexiest, newest AI tool that just literally helps you continue to be present and top of mind.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And when you had shared with me what they do, I was really impressed by the elegance of the solution, the fact that it is relatively lo-fi, and probably one of the most effective ways to reach high school students in this information multimedia saturated world, right?
Yeah. For sure. Well, Volt, should we let people know how to find us? Because after listening to this, I think our DMs are about to blow up.
One hopes. So on the 2nd of April, we will be launching higheredicons.com. So please point your browser to that URL. And Mallory, when's our first episode?
First episode drops on April 7th. So folks, if you haven't already subscribed to the feed, now is the time so that first episode just lands right in your Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. inbox. And if you know someone who's been in this field long enough to remember how it used to work, like send this little episode off to them because maybe they would like to subscribe as well.
Absolutely. And stay tuned. You will not be disappointed at our first higher ed icon, who is, I would say, the quintessential, the OG.
The icon.
The icon.
But we're not telling you who yet. Find out on April 7th, y'all. We'll see you then.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Higher Ed Icons celebrates the pioneers, thought leaders, and changemakers who have shaped and continue to shape higher education marketing.
New episodes drop every other Tuesday. Subscribe and leave us a rating wherever you listen.
Higher Ed Icons is made possible by our founding sponsor, On Deck Marketing, keeping colleges and universities visible where students learn, walk, and scroll.
Learn more at ondeckmarketing.com.